All good?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Hello and welcome, Beale Reindorf, to Not Your Thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in, brother. I appreciate it.
Dude, I'm glad to be here. Yeah.
Actor, modeling. I'm walking around, I'm seeing your face on advertisements. On Instagram, I'm seeing you pop up as well.
Yeah.
All of which, none are coming from your actual personal account. So I almost thought it'd be easier to ask you, what aren't you doing? Instead of what are you working on? So
Yeah, I'm kind of in the shadows, really.
Awesome.
Silent achiever.
Yeah.
Silent achiever, definitely.
That's it, man. So the list of questions I got are tailored more to the modeling work that you're doing at the moment,
Yeah.
which I want to dive into. But before that, your last name,
Yeah.
Reindorf.
Yeah.
I'm curious about it. What's the origin of the last name? And I guess, what's your ethnicity even? What's your
Yeah.
upbringing? Tell me,
Yeah.
because...
So it's German origin.
Okay, yeah.
So essentially, without going too deep into the family lineage and whatnot, it was a German missionary, came down to Africa.
Okay.
He essentially brought down the Reindorf line, and then generations after generations, and then here comes my family and me, essentially.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the colonization story, huh?
Yeah.
Literally. Fuck.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Name of the game in the past. But
Yeah.
no, I found that very interesting, yeah.
It's unique, especially when, like, I'll be, have to give my details on the phone without someone visually seeing me. They kind of expect some Caucasian German or something like that. Or even when I was in Germany, they anticipated a German, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I've walked in and they're like, okay, interesting.
How does that matter to you, the fact that there is an assumption at all?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
Not really. It doesn't really faze me too much. I actually find it quite funny, to be honest, because it's just, you see the reaction on their face where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, welcome.
Because, man, even like leading up to this, I'm curious, and it's a good intention. So, but even I'm like, is it okay to ask? And then I always have these like meta conversations in my head of like, I'm like, no, it's just a question, because it is unusual. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
I feel like, just being open and curious is like a great thing to have. And I think, society nowadays is all about cancel culture. So it's kind of like, you can't ask that. That's inappropriate. That's X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, it's questions. It's
questions, and it's intention as well. Like if you can tell the intention and respect, then it is just words.
Exactly. Exactly. People are a bit too sensitive nowadays. Yeah.
Bro, I've got a memory from uni.
Yeah.
And I want you to, I don't know if I'm making some of it up.
Yeah.
I think I might be.
Okay.
So I need you to kind of genuinely tell me if I'm making the end part up. So
Okay.
I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
We were sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
And the teacher's like, Bill, and I raised my hand. I'm like, attendance, yep.
Yeah.
And he's like, Bill, to you.
Yeah.
And then you said yes. Is this ringing any bell?
I think so. Yeah.
A Asian teacher? Or? He pretty much goes like, he's like, oh, Bill. He's like, are you two related?
I don't remember.
You don't? Bro, that was my peak uni experience. Fuck.
Oh, shit. I don't remember this.
Because I remember saying, and this is a part I don't know if it's in my head or not, but I remember saying, what gave it away? Yeah. And then,
wait a second. I think I might remember this. I think I might remember this.
And then that was my just like peak. I'm like, oh, hilarious.
Like, that's crazy. I can't remember. I can't picture the face, but I kind of vaguely remember that memory.
Yeah. I think it meant more to me than you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you studied, were you studying construction management as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
and you've pursued that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm still in the construction world, just a very different perspective now. Yeah. So sort of a high level perspective. Advising, consulting sort of aspect.
Yeah, that's something I've learned as well, is the more you somewhat, I don't know if move up is the right term, but the more you progress, you start to deal with the technicalities less. Yeah. And you start to holistically deal with people more.
Exactly.
The relationships more. Yeah. Processes from a broader view. So that's pretty cool that you've kind of worked to that.
I think now my day-to-day consists of meetings instead of drawings.
Yeah,
you know,
okay, yeah.
it's a lot of meetings. It's really just dealing with people, connecting the dots with people.
Yeah.
That's what I do on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like, if you're a people person, it's great. If you're not, it can be daunting, definitely.
And you're dealing with humans.
Yeah.
So someone's got a shit day and they take it out on you. So I've followed more the project management path on construction sites, and man, yeah, you just, and even when you're impatient as well, dealing with people, you need to refrain from actually being emotional as well.
Yeah.
So it has its own kind of
it has its own challenges.
That's it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Exactly. Is that sorry?
Some days, you know, you get clients that are, I need this, I want that, help me with this, or what should I do here? And it's kind of like, you've got to be that cool, calm, collected person to navigate them through whatever they're going through. And sometimes, you know, we can have a crazy day where we've got a million things going on as well, and then you've got a client that's like, I need help. And you just got to, sometimes you really just got to take your time, priorities, you know, what's important.
Man, I feel that. And it translates in my personal life as well. Yeah. And it's something I've been complaining a lot about lately. Is like, I feel like I don't get to have my temper tantrums. I feel like I always need to be, not the adult in the room, but the one who's collected, the one who's like calming, the one who's reasonable. Yeah. And more lately, I've been kind of like, where's my tantrum? Dude. Why do people get to unleash on me? Yeah. And I need to just fucking
be the bigger person.
Yeah. I'm so over being the bigger person that I'm like, I'm just jealous. I want my tantrum. Where the fuck's my tantrum? Seriously, no, I've been like cracking lately.
There's days like there's been days, especially in the last few months, where I've, you know, you want to almost crack. Yeah. But then at the same time, like, you feel as though you can't crack because,
well, the things still need to get done.
Things need to get, you know, you've just got to keep going. Like, and you know, I feel as though when you're in this particular sort of industry, or you're that person for your, you know, family or your friends or whatever it is, you just are that person naturally.
Yeah. And as much as sometimes I don't want to be, or as you're saying, it's. Did you say, you just said naturally? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
like naturally, that's just your temperament just leans that way.
Exactly.
And for lack of a better term, unfortunately, it's just the way we're kind of built sometimes.
Exactly. You know, you got like people that are hyperactive, that are just bang, 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 go-getters. And then you've got the methodical people that are like cool, calm, collected, very logical, which is, I'd say, probably us. The way I approach a lot of things is very just methodical. Like, I think about things before I do things, or, you know, really take my time to understand what I'm doing before I do it. Yeah.
That's a part of the role, just the sequencing, the program, the look ahead element.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You've kind of got to anticipate what's to come. And that's a skill, definitely. Yeah.
But I feel like we need to remember to not lose the like intuition element as well in that. Because like, yes, logic and reasoning helps with certainty and structure.
Definitely.
But like the I don't know, the process itself isn't logical. I'm not making much sense there, but I feel like we have to, well, at least I'm trying to get used to using the emotions to kind of navigate me in that logical structure. Yeah. As opposed to just being a bit too cold.
Yeah. And there's, you know, there's an element where you have to be, you know, you've got to be relatable. And that's, and I could definitely say, even for myself, there's been times, you know, years ago, where I was very much just logical, like cold.
Yeah, same.
But then, you know, you change, you evolve, you understand yourself, you meet other people that help you get that grounding. Yeah. So you can relate to people, and you're not this, you know, one cold shell person that, you know, can't be relatable to other people. Yeah. I speak to a lot of people that are just really difficult to understand because they're just, you know, special individuals. But you kind of have to have that balance of both.
Well, yeah, that goes back to the role itself, is dealing with people. Sometimes maybe alone cold, hard logic gets you from A to B, but the optimal outcome when dealing with people is, hey, I'll put the logic aside. I'm dealing with a human. this will collectively get us where we need to go if you can kind of learn to work with people.
Definitely. I think emotional intelligence is really important.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I've been developing the last few years. Is it's changed my relationships with everything, like with family, with you know, intimately, with clients.
Yeah.
Because I think if you can connect with someone on an emotional level, they trust you more. The relationship is stronger. It's more refined. And essentially the journey becomes a lot more fulfilling because there's understanding on a much deeper level.
Yeah. And there's literally a relation being formed. Yeah,
exactly.
No, I like that. Even step further, kind of just even material things. It's a relationship to it, just to even perceive it.
Exactly.
So we got to just that's like honing the skill to just kind of, I think, somewhat observe everything in a bit more slightly connected way.
Yeah.
And as you said, I don't know how much we'll touch on it, but I feel like it translates everywhere in your life, professionally, intimately, and just you can just kind of feel things expand to some degree when you're building relationships.
Yeah, and it's important, you know. I think nowadays I sort of seek after an emotional connection, not a superficial, high level sort of connection.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on the setting, like in a professional setting, it's, you know, there's boundaries. But yeah, if friends and whatnot, like if I'm meeting new people, like I like to understand them. Like I like to really, you know, connect with them on that like level.
Nice, man.
Definitely. Yeah.
How long have you been doing the modeling, and what's the origin story there?
Modeling, I've been doing modeling for about 5 or 6 years now. How I really got into it was initially a lot of my friends were like, dude, you got to get into it. You know, I had a lot of people that are in that industry, and I never really cared for it, to be honest. I was always like, yeah, you know, I've got my eyes set on other things.
Sorry, what's that conversation like? Hey, you're hot. Go into modeling.
Yeah, seriously. Like it was a lot of like that sort of experience with different people. Like even when I was out, and I was just kind of like, it's not really my thing. And where modeling really started for me, or where it really, you know, became a thing, was when I moved overseas. I was dating someone, so I moved overseas, and I got signed over there. I was in Europe, and that's where modeling was like just my thing. That was all I was doing, and that's where it just sort of birthed, essentially.
Yeah.
And then
signed means an agency.
Yeah, signed with an agency.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like initially I was very like stiff. You know, in modeling you got to be confident. Obviously, I'd never done it before, so it was really awkward. It was, you know, understanding how the industry works, understanding myself, and you know how I'm going to navigate this. And so it took a little bit of time, but then once you build confidence in yourself, like, you're just having fun out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, it's just fun for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel, so I mentioned earlier a lot of the things that I saw weren't from your personal account, and you just said then you do seem like a silent achiever. What is that? Is that intentional? And I guess a step further, would it not be better for you to start creating a bit of a public personality for your branding?
Yeah, definitely. I've kind of been on both ends. Like initially starting out, I was public, you know, I was posting, doing the thing, getting the followers and whatnot. But with my personal experience, it was an interesting experience.
Sorry, uninteresting or not interesting?
An interesting experience.
Sorry.
Because when you have a lot of followers, or you have a lot of people that are invested in what you're doing, or want to know what you're doing, or seeing what you're doing because you're essentially accessible, you're public.
Literally, yeah.
You'll meet a lot of, like, there's a lot of crazy experiences you'll have where people, you know, just coming to you with some crazy DMs and this and that. And for me, like, it really wasn't who I was. I think naturally I'm a private person. So, you know, changing my whole sort of profile to, you know, going private, you know, just revamping everything is more aligned to who I am. And
the work it's speaking for itself.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
still in motion.
Yeah, and I feel as though switching to that private sort of setting has opened up so many more doors.
Wow.
And it's funny because in the industry, like you'll connect with people on set, and everyone's kind of like, yeah, let's exchange the Instagrams, and it's like, oh, this dude's private, and he's like, he's not that usual.
That's
model
what taught
type.
me
Yeah, so
off.
it's
Yeah,
like-
but I'm like, why am I seeing you in fucking Bonds in the shopping center? I'm like, Mum, I know him. So I was like, I swear to God. So,
yeah, it's just like it's, and I love that though. I think it's actually a good thing because, you know, it for me when I think about it, it shows and it tells other people if they're interested or if they like me, and if they're a private person, you can still do what you do.
Yes.
But just, you know, on your own terms. You know, not feel pressured to, you know, create a public eye or like be some sort of social media figure. You don't really have to do that. You can still get consistent work, great work, enjoy what you're doing, and still be private, you know?
Yeah. So I completely appreciate that. But do you feel, so how did it get better when you went more private? Because what I assume and what I'm experiencing with the podcast is the same thing. Like I literally just downloaded Instagram when I did the podcast account or re-downloaded, sorry.
Yeah.
But in this instance, it is about just constantly being in people's conscious content.
Yeah.
Like literal content, virtual content, but like conscious content. You just need to appear, hates me again, hates me again. And then that's getting the name out a bit more. So I'm curious in your experience why private made it work better.
I think because I went private, it sort of pushed me to build relationships on set with people.
Ah, yes,
So
bro. Yes.
it was like,
yeah,
okay, I'm not public, so I'm, you know, not going to get as much exposure. So when I'm on set and I'm booked for jobs, I'm going to create relationships.
Yeah,
with
these
people.
are the opportunities.
Exactly.
It's not pressing follow.
It's
that conversation.
It's like, okay, let's talk, let's chat. You know,
Yes.
let's build, you know, rapport with each other, and that's what it does. So when I'm on set, I'm usually making friends with, you know, the makeup, the hair, the photographers, the stylists, and you kind of you connect with them and you build that relationship, and then you get the next job, and then you build that relationship again, you get the next job and the next job, and then you have a network of contacts where, you know, they've got you in their mind. It's like, okay, I've got this job coming up. Oh, yeah, Bill. Yeah, he was great at the last one, and he could probably do this and X, Y, and Z, and then it's just bang.
Yeah.
And that's how it's really come to be. And obviously having a great agent as well.
Yeah, of course.
Shout out to Rachel, my agent.
We love you, Rachel.
She's amazing.
Awesome.
But yeah, definitely connecting with the people.
Yeah.
That's throughout the board in any industry. That's the number one thing.
Yeah, and I think like social media is so new.
Yeah.
I feel like we forget that, not that we're aiming for fame or celebrity, but fame and celebrity existed before social media.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, in the town square or whatever, the person who was famous was the one who was connecting to everyone, was talking to everyone. Yeah. They weren't on Instagram. Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
You can, and it seems like you are literally manifesting it in reality, and then it'll show through on the social. Again, not about social media, but in the work that's being done as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
I think there's that quote where it's like the work that's done in the dark gets seen in the light, or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's pretty much how I sort of look at it. Is that I do a lot of things privately. I don't share a lot, but there's a lot going on behind closed doors. And you know, people see and people reach out and like, hey, I saw you doing the thing, and it was like, thanks for supporting. Like, I'm not looking for validation.
But it is nice.
It's nice.
It's nice.
It's nice.
Like,
Don't get me wrong. It's nice. But I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
That's important.
Yeah.
But then the validation, quote validation loosely here, is kind of a nice way to use external data to make sure you're aligning with the path that you're kind of going on. So it's just information,
Yeah.
and then you can kind of see if there's any discrepancy there.
Definitely. It definitely helps, and it keeps me aligned with you know what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's good to get that feedback, because then you know, like, okay, yeah, that was good. I'm on the right path. I'm not sort of wafting away and doing this, doing a little bit of this. Like, I'm pretty picky with the jobs that I want to do, and
branding wise, if it represents you.
Yeah, definitely. Because, I'm not going to say yes to everything. Like, there's certain things where I have parameters around certain things that I will do and won't do, like, maybe gambling, that sort of thing, because I understand the repercussions for other people.
Oh, good point.
Exactly,
Sorry, I didn't think. Yeah.
There's jobs like that'll come for different industries that I'm kind of like, great, the money's great, but I'm not going to do it.
What a moral battle there.
Yeah. I've had a lot of opportunities come that I've just had to say no, because morally I'm like, I can't do it.
Can I? And there's a quote I want to say. I will. I won't forget it. But haven't you heard the concept that, like, even if you don't do it, someone else will? And so what's really the difference whether you do or don't?
I think it helps me sleep at night.
Okay.
Absolutely, I think it helps me sleep at night.
Bro,
I'm happy for whoever else gets it. I can sleep at night knowing I didn't have to sell my soul or whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
definitely.
that's a sign of really good answer, man. Because that shows the good intention coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Internally.
Like, and Rachel knows it. Like, she still prompts on certain things and to see if maybe my perspective has changed. I'm like, no, Rachel, we're not doing that. Like,
but that's also the sign of a good manager, understanding you, but also kind of taking you out the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And ultimately, her job as a manager, I'm making assumptions, sorry. I mean, more as a manager. Understanding you, but ultimately her role is your growth as a priority.
Yeah.
So, hey, this is a growth opportunity.
Yeah.
You sure? Not?
Exactly.
Nah, okay, cool.
And it's always giving me the option to pick.
Opportunities are there. Yeah,
definitely. There's some agents out there that are very like, you need to do this, because if you don't do this, you're not going to be X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Whereas Rachel from the beginning has always been very, here it is. You pick.
It's your path, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's really good. It's really, really good. That's another thing I'd say is very important, picking the right agent for yourself.
Do they fight over you?
You'll get interest, and you'll get some that'll give you really, appeasing deals, and you'll get X, Y, and Z. We'll take care of this and that.
They're like, Rachel's all right.
Yeah, it's like you just gotta trust your gut.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you gotta trust your gut. Obviously, read the contracts. Very important, but you gotta trust your gut. If you feel, you can trust that person and they're genuine. Yeah, go for it.
Again, back to relationships. You know what I mean? Literally.
Exactly. It's so important. It's actually like so important. Yeah.
I remembered a quote earlier. It might be bro science, but metaphorically, I think it's true. It was the part of your brain, that speaks about doing something, uses the same resource from the part of your brain that does the thing. So, and I felt like that was linked to what you were saying earlier, in that you don't speak about it much, but and I've noticed that too. When I speak something out, there's a release of energy, which I could have, because I think everything is I don't want to say sexual tension, but there's always a build up and then release, build up and a release, and that's just a cycle of life, whether it's emotions or this or that. So I feel like when there's the build up of wanting to do something, you either speak about it and you can still do it, but if you don't speak about it, you're that much more likely to actually use that I call sexual/life energy to actually do the thing. Yeah. Because what is sexual energy? It's life. It's movement. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
it's funny. I was having this conversation with a friend actually last night.
What the fuck?
And we I don't know how it came up. I can't remember how, but he was talking to another friend, and she basically advised him that sexual energy and creative energy are the same thing.
Yes. So, well, it is. Yeah. It literally is. It is.
If you prioritize your energy on one more than the other, it throws the balance out. So if you...
Wait, sorry, go again. Sexual or creative?
Sexual energy and creative energy are the same thing.
So how can you prioritize one over the other?
So what happens is if you've got an objective or a goal that you want to achieve or something you want to do, but for example, you're prioritizing a lot of sexual partners or, entertaining, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Your focus will be, and your energy is on that.
Yes.
And you cannot do both at once. Like, you've got to lock in on something and go all in on it. The moment you kind of try to put your feet in this bucket and that bucket, you're lost.
Yeah.
Like you cannot simply focus on one thing if you're trying to do a million other things.
Yep.
And I think for me it's very important. I'm not going to say too much. Okay.
But no, the message landed though.
Yeah.
Not completely. Maybe we'll save it for round two.
But
no, I get what you mean though.
it's a challenge. It really is.
Yeah.
But you gotta lock in. You gotta lock in. And I think for me personally, I can relate to that to a degree.
I think everyone can.
Yeah.
It's literally in the word creative.
Yeah.
And what is sex? It's creating life. Like there has to be a link, and you need the ability to kind of hone it.
Yeah.
And and shoot it wherever you want to.
You really do. You need to dial in. You need to lock in and get shit done. Like, And I've experienced that. You get distracted.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
You get really distracted, and it throws you away from what you're trying to do. And sometimes you need to just really get realigned. Like, take yourself out of situations, out of positions that are gonna derail you from what you're trying to achieve.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, obviously, for you to be doing as well as you are, you have to come to these. You plurally as well,
the most important thing is understanding yourself, and that means going down to the depths of yourself and looking at the areas that you might not want to look at, or the trauma or whatever else we might have been through. That's the most difficult part. But once you start to understand and go back and think about, okay, why do I do or say or behave X, Y, and Z, and get to the root of that, it'll help you understand yourself better, and in turn help you do whatever you do better, and relate to people better, because you understand why people do the things they do.
You see yourself in them as well.
You see yourself in them, and you can. And so it makes reading people and analyzing people so much easier, because you can just tell, like, okay, I understand why they said that.
Yeah, and not react to everything.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like, I've never been one to be a reactive person, but like you can understand clearly when someone reacts to you, because you know where it's coming from.
Yeah,
and you can acknowledge that.
This just came up, and I didn't have it on the list, but do you notice? Do partners act weird in your presence? If you know what I mean, and I can elaborate, but I want to see if that lands at all.
Act weird in it depends on what.
Like, I don't know, and I might cut this out because I might sound like a fucking narcissist, but I'm pretty attentive and observant, and I can sometimes tell when, like, if I'm on the train and there's a guy and his missus, or vice versa, whatever's the same. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I can see when the guy's behaving a bit insecurely,
right?
And I could see him like I could see him like kind of. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that at all.
No.
They get a bit too lovey-dovey, and I'm like sitting there like a bit uncomfortable. Like, what PDA is happening here?
Yeah.
And then sometimes, anyway, that's
no. I agree. Like, I've seen it out as well. Like, where the dynamic is sort of a bit weird. Like from someone outside looking in.
Yeah.
For me personally, I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
Like, I'd say weird in different ways, or behavioral changes in different ways.
Maybe they're freaking out because I'm like this, just staring at it. They're like, what the fuck's going on?
Like, what is this guy doing?
Maybe that's what's really going on.
Oh man.
So I've noticed dynamics change sometimes, and I don't know. I just try to pay attention and create stories out of them.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I think even last night I might have seen like a really weird sort of dynamic, like, where it's one where the conversation could be endless because there's so many different types of dynamics where
and all assumptions here.
Exactly, because we don't really know these people. We're just observers. Where maybe they, like the guy kind of looks like he's pushing, right? And so he's a simp essentially.
A heavy word, but yeah.
Like it is a heavy word.
Yeah.
Not trying to get cancelled.
No, not that.
It looks like that from the outside looking in.
Yeah, and the reason I noticed as well, and I didn't want to say it, but like, there's like I noticed the whatever. I'm just gonna speak my mind, man.
Yeah.
Like I
Dude,
noticed.
we have to.
Yeah. But like I noticed the I don't know if it's subconscious or conscious, but like the cues from the woman towards me sometimes. Like I could see her like catch a glance or flicks the hair back, shows the collarbone, and just the posturing. I feel it. Do you know what I mean? So
definitely
those kind of things, I feel that a bit. I think I feel the guy feel it, and then I'm seeing him like, and this has happened more than once.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Oh,
so I just noticed that sometimes. It's no comment about me.
Yeah,
but I just found it. I don't know. I don't even know how we got here. I just thought it was an interesting note,
is.
and I felt comfortable talking about it.
Yeah,
now,
definitely.
You know?
Like it is. It's something that happens every day. That we see on a day-to-day basis, where it's you'll get those behavioral patterns or those like hints where, and you've either got to action on those hints or you don't.
Yeah,
because it's either yes or a no.
Yeah.
There's no in between. But I guess it's situational dependent, and it's also dependent on if you're attracted to that person.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and the context.
Exactly.
And,
So many variables depend on how it'll pan out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that so much. And again, I could be completely wrong about this whole situation, so different, but I love how much meaning and conversation and relationship lies in the implicit. So nothing's been spoken there.
Yeah.
But that's not to say there isn't conversations happening.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm like, the eyes tell a lot.
Yes,
dude.
exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
The eyes tell a lot. Like, for me personally, I can tell a lot, like, with the eye contact.
Yeah,
Like, if it's there, like, you're speaking without speaking.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's good. I wanted to ask, how do you deal with the, if you've had any, pre-photo shoot anxiety? And then I guess, how have your emotions developed over time with modeling?
I think early in my career in modeling, definitely, it was like, oh man, like what if I don't, my poses aren't right, or like I'm not, the right model for the shoot, or, or I'm not, jacked enough, or, or so many different questions, but again, all in my head, and not necessarily anybody saying it to me. So that's like, anxiety is obviously stressing about the things that we can't control. Like, but we don't need to control those things. Those things are outside of our control. So definitely early on in my career, it was a thing. But
Sorry, was that, and sorry to interject.
Yeah.
Is that holistically, or you had these thoughts almost every time before you go to a shoot?
No, this was just in the initial phases of maybe in the first, like, 3 to 6 months of modeling. But then after that sort of phase, researching what other models do, how they sort of cope with it. And I remember watching a YouTube video of, I don't know who the model was now, but it was essentially just having fun. Like, play your music on set, because there's music on set, and just pretend you're in a party.
Yeah.
And ever since, like, I sort of adopted that, like, every shoot I go to is fun. Like I jump on the aux. I'm playing my music.
Fuck, the confidence of this man.
I'm jumping. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I'm having fun. And the reason why I'm having fun because I also make relationships with the team on set.
Yeah.
And we're all just having fun.
Bro, you're fucking nailing it, man. Honestly, everything you're saying, like, people don't realize the importance of, or the ability everyone has to create the atmosphere in the room.
Yeah.
You can change, this room can become another room.
Yeah.
Like a literal
100%.
other room. And I mean that almost literally.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same room, but it's a different space.
Exactly.
You know, and you bringing that energy in.
Yeah, it's infectious.
It's everything. Yes,
it's infectious because it's like a plague. That person catches it, the next person catches, and then by the time you realize everyone's on the same energy, the vibes, the shoot becomes better.
Yes,
the quality of the work becomes better.
Yeah,
the client's happy. Everyone's just on good vibes, good energy, like the whole day.
Yes,
and that's what I've just adopted in pretty much every shoot I go to. Is just have fun. Everyone's laughing, everyone's joking, and the work is always great.
Yeah.
And I think that's I definitely advise other models or creatives to just be yourself.
Yeah.
Like don't be scared to, speak your mind. Like if you don't really like something, you can just say, hey, like how about X, Y, and Z? Like just show up and be yourself. And a lot of the times people will respect that. Yeah.
Be yourself, be human. And a part of being human is playing.
Yeah.
Literally playing, making games. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like you can make fun games out of
Exactly.
things, and we forget how much that's a part of our learning process and how much being a child is us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At what point did we become the adults?
Yeah.
Fuck that, honestly.
Exactly.
And that's the creation element again, is playfulness, I feel like.
Definitely.
And again, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it, it translates everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's so important, and people are so rigid and sequence and blah, blah, and that's kind of what I meant earlier, where you can get too logical.
Exactly.
The play and the meaning needs to
element,
be in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Your inner child's got to be out there.
Yes,
it's
bro,
got to be. It's got to be free. It's got to be, And a lot of the time, people want, in order for people to also feel like that, they've got to see it.
Yes.
So
huge.
once they see
courage of it.
exactly,
Yeah.
they see, oh man, he's just out here just doing it. Like, and then it's like, oh, maybe I could try it. And then it's like, oh, you know what, this feels good. Like,
Or it's fuck this guy.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, it's either that. Like, you do get that as well, where it's like,
wait, he's
I don't
happy
fucking
with
like
his
him.
life?
He's happy. He's too smiley. He's too.
Yeah,
And it's
right.
like, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're probably dealing with some stuff. We all are, but you got to find the joy in everything. Definitely.
I've never understood. I've just never. I understand envy,
Yeah.
but I've never understood the envy of, hey, I want you to fail. My envy is, I want you to be the best you can be, and I want to kind of be better than you. That's my narcissist element.
Yeah.
But I want you to be amazing.
Yeah.
Whereas there's people who want others to fail.
Yeah.
I can't process that, or maybe I haven't given it enough thought. Maybe you anyone can become a Hitler.
Yeah.
Technically,
Yeah.
you can become negative, but
yeah.
I've just never really grasped how people live that way and how it's beneficial to them.
Yeah, I think like
Sorry,
Yeah.
just the thought came up. I think because it's easier than having to fucking better themselves.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so
a lot of I think they say there's a quote or something where they say jealousy stems from love. Like
oh yeah, okay,
most people that are jealous most likely love whatever that person's doing or whatever they have,
yes,
but they're not willing to put in the work to achieve or get to that point. So what's the easiest thing to do? Jealous.
yeah,
You know?
that makes a lot of sense.
It's envy, like, and it's funny because like we're all just regular people, dude. Like no one's, we didn't come from any special privilege or anything like that. Like it's just you just put in the work, dude.
Yeah.
Like you work, you grind, you stay true to yourself, and you grow.
But you're also lucky that you've been, and when I say you, I mean the thing that's experiencing Bill, like that conscious you is lucky it got placed inside Bill, who as a human likes to strive for a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas you could have very much been someone who would prefer to be envious. Like, what can they do about that if they just don't have the systems in place to fucking get up and move?
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
And I will say this, a lot of the times it's about surrounding yourself with the right people. That's probably been one of the biggest things that's changed the trajectory of my career and my life is who I spend my time with. Because I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, I changed friendship groups.
Yeah.
The best thing I ever did.
Wow. Yeah.
Best thing I ever did. Everyone is just on that level of, I want you to win.
Yeah, awesome.
And vice versa.
Awesome, yeah.
And so everyone's killing it in their own industries, loving what they're doing. And collectively, we sit down, we have dinners, we do the thing, and it's just, dude, what are you doing? Oh, you're working on that, you got that. Okay, yeah. And it's positive.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of the things that people tend to do wrong is surrounding yourself with, it's comfortability. It's like, I've known her, I've known him. Like for 20 years, we went to kindergarten together. But are they good for you?
Yeah.
You can still have them in your life, but you can create boundaries.
Yes. Okay.
You can create boundaries. It's not cutting people off. I don't really believe in just cutting people off. It's about creating healthy boundaries. Because if you let people in too much that are quote unquote,
hashtag
toxic or liabilities.
Liabilities.
It can drag you down.
Yeah.
It really can drag you down. So the people you surround yourself with really determine the trajectory of your future. 100%.
And it's pretty interesting to see how many people you surrounded yourself with that, this sounds so cliche, but don't necessarily want what's best for you. And there's sometimes you notice it.
Yeah.
And then when I notice some things, I'm just like, wait, how much of the love and funness of this relationship was coming from me?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's coming from us. You know what I mean? And in this, not that I pull back away, but there's times where I'm like, wait, what love are you providing to this relationship?
Yeah.
And then I start to notice, I'm like, wait, you're actually not good for me.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I've had a few where I'm like, wait, I start to notice these things, and I'm like, wait, I need to pull back, and just I need to get better at. I don't know. I don't want to become bitter though.
Yeah.
You want to expect the best of everyone.
Yeah.
But then you open yourself up to like, not vulnerability, but like.
Well, essentially, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get betrayed, or you're going to get disappointed by someone.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing. Like they say, when you go through those low periods, those challenging periods where your back's against the wall and you've got a million things that are coming at you at once, look at who shows up. Really look at who shows up, because those people are the ones you take with you.
Yeah.
Like the ones that kind of like disappear in the shadows, you know where to keep them. Yeah.
And did you show up for yourself as well?
Oh, 100%.
You know, because I started to view myself like impartially as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you going to be there when I need you? You know, because there's times where I haven't been there when I need me. And I'm like, fuck, not good enough.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm really creating that relationship with myself of, hey, I expect you to be there when I need you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really helping me kind of, again, relationships, even with yourself. I'm really starting to strengthen that relationship as well.
Definitely.
So
I'd say I'm thankful that my parents always instilled in me and my siblings a sense of belief that like you can do anything.
Awesome.
Like, and so for me, I'm always been one, and I've always been one to bet on myself. And most people know that. Like, I really don't care if somebody doesn't believe in me. If I believe in me, I'm gonna do it,
bro. And that's what magnetizes people as well.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize, or in my opinion, like true attractiveness is.
Yeah.
So you can have looks, you can have a symmetrical face, yes, on paper attractive, but the thing that makes you gravitate towards people, or me at least, is when they're like doing their thing.
Yeah.
Even if there's a chick or whoever's just not even physically that attractive.
Exactly.
When someone knows themselves, is doing their thing, just believes in themselves, you can't not magnetize to it.
Energetically, you attract people with a similar energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, for example, you can tell, before I say this, if you're out in town, you're out in the city, you can tell energetically a female that knows herself, understands herself, knows her worth, like is on it.
Yeah.
You can just tell energetically.
Yes.
They hold themselves differently.
Yeah.
There's just an aura around them that is just like, do not fuck with her.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's the others that are maybe not so, they're yet to understand or fully grow into themselves, that allow access in so many different directions. And those are the type of people that, they just like anyone and everyone can sort of access.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. And that girl that you're talking about, the one who I have in my mind.
Yeah.
She has an element of, I don't know, like it's mystique, but power.
Yeah.
And you feel that. And
feel it.
And I feel the,
like,
fuck, should I talk to you?
Exactly.
Like,
when you see it, you're like, you kind of check yourself. Like, am I qualified enough for this? Like, you really your internal thought is like, okay. I need to really, if I'm coming for this, I need to come correct. Like, and she hasn't said a word. She might not have even looked at me. She just walked she just walked past. It's like, okay, man, are the prerequisites in order to do this? Because, dude, like. And that's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And make sure you do go for it. So I'm an opportunist. Yeah. I think life itself is an opportunity. It's a blink.
Yeah.
You're already dead. We're already dead.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you think you're living, we are, but we're already dead.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that in my day to day. So I seen her walk past, and then I come too much context to give the details. I was meant to go to my mate's engagement. I got the date wrong, so I was dressed up looking fine in the city with nowhere to go. So I was just drinking by myself at this bar, and this chick walks in, and man, you nailed the energy that was there. And I don't even know if she looked at me, but I felt her, and I think she felt me. Yeah, and I felt things. You know?
Exactly.
So she's gone in. They've just walked straight out, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I need to say something.
Exactly.
So I've just down my drink. Literally, like I don't think it was weird. It was very respectful. You know what I mean? Like, and pretty much followed. And I was like, "Hey, blah blah blah." I'm not gonna spit my game on. But we
gotta keep those things private.
Exactly. But
that's for another episode.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, yeah. But she let me go a bit, and then she hit me with, "Sorry, I have a boyfriend." And I'm like, "Why would you not lead with that?" She's like, "It'd be rude to just." I didn't want to be that. And she was just like, and then I tried. Sorry. So point I'm making there is, take the opportunity. I'm glad. I would have been kicking myself had I not done that. And as men, respect women. And I'm not trying to say that in a cringe way, but you can still be a man. So what I did was I persisted. She was like, no. By the way, she was with like her mum and auntie. So it was like a real nice environment. She said no. Tried kind of one more time, and I tried to like loosen it, and then I felt her energy change. Where she wasn't a friend anymore. It wasn't aggressive. But it was back off. And I'm like, hey, like she didn't even say anything. I was like, look, I feel that it's have a good night.
Exactly.
But I'm glad I tried. I'm glad I slightly persisted. But I was at the brink of like. That, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna read the room, respect it, and back the fuck off.
100%.
So,
and that's the when someone really holds their ground and like honors themselves, you're gonna feel that. You're and absolutely gonna feel that.
I feel women really need to cultivate that power of learn. You don't need to laugh at everything. You don't need to make everything lighthearted. She was comfortable to make me uncomfortable, and I'm like, fuck, I respect that. She made me uncomfortable in the way I was acting. So I'm like, all right, I'm a back off.
Definitely.
So I like that. I feel women should really learn to cultivate that energy as well.
Definitely.
You know?
And we're in no way trying to tell women how to be. This is an open and honest conversation around, you know, our experiences. You know, I think you know,
I appreciate you saying that,
Definitely.
because I'll extend that further and say to men as well.
Absolutely.
Genuinely,
Absolutely.
to men, to women, just to be a human. Back to what you said, boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries with friends, families, strangers.
Exactly.
Boundaries are everything, man.
Yeah.
So
we've got to set parameters. You know, I feel as though the best version of ourselves is the one that has parameters. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
yeah,
I don't do that. It's saying no.
it's saying no, bro.
It's saying
no. I respect that.
It's saying no.
Yeah. And having weight behind your no.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If your words start to lose their value, why would the person you're saying no to respect your no if you don't respect your no? You know what I mean? So
Big time.
in that sense, you got to be willing to kind of stand your ground on your no, essentially.
100%.
You know?
100%.
But
Very, very important.
damn, son. Yeah, these are important topics, I feel, man. And
Dude, 100%. I think in this day and age that we live in, with social media and all these things going on, it's so easy to overlook the important things, like the things that we take for granted,
like privacy,
like like boundaries, like parameters, and just being respectful, being kind. It goes a long way.
Yeah,
it goes a long, long way. You know, and that comes from, you know, for me it came from childhood, but for others you can develop that. You know,
that'll open up to another question I have, which you've triggered. But for now, what do you think separates a good model from a great model? Is there a certain skill set that you can actually distinguish?
There's a bunch of different things that can lead to that sort of category. Obviously, because every shoot is different. They're looking for a specific model. They're looking for maybe it could be a demographic, it could be a skin tone, it could be a hair type, whatever it is, whatever they're looking for. But I think what separates a good model from a great model is confidence.
Okay.
Confidence. Like when a model's great when they walk into the room and everyone kind of goes, yeah, like,
and it's just by the
aura, by the energy, like, and you just know because it's no words, it's not even the heels walking, or it's not even like anything, it's not even how they look, it's just energetically, like you're just like, it's go time, you just know. And then the ability for them to be relatable, you know, because there's some models out there that are very, you know, prim and proper, and I'm above everybody else, and you know, no one is
as hot as I.
Exactly. But it's just having that energy and also having that relatability to be able to work with people and take constructive criticism.
Well, yeah,
you know,
good point.
A lot of you know, people out there, they're like, you know, I thought I did a great job. Like, why does she want me to do X, Y, and Z? It's like they're just trying to get the right shot. They don't think you're bad. It's just constructive criticism. And it's depending on the way you receive it, tells a lot about how you are.
Yeah.
But I think the main sort of difference is confidence and relatability.
Wow. That honestly, because I felt you already answered it, but you've said it, you've circled back in a sense that that's the confidence that created the AUX in the room. Yeah. That brings the energy as well. So
exactly.
I've asked that question, but I felt you already kind of nailed it earlier, and that's more to your point.
100%. It really sets the precedence for the rest of the day on set. Because if your energy's on and it's you're making everybody feel comfortable, it's just going to be a great day. And for me personally, but for my own personal experience, that's what I've seen, is that once people feel comfortable, it is a great day on set. Every single time. Yeah, definitely.
There's a stigma, and coming from myself as well, that to be a model, you need an element of narcissism and vanity. Do you feel there's truth to this?
No, because I've met a lot of models in my career, and a lot of them are actually quite introverted people. Okay. They're quite shy. They're really sweet people. I guess there is a little bit of truth to it, maybe. Okay. Like a tiny bit, but I think
who isn't a narcissist?
Yeah,
now?
I think everybody has narcissism inside of them. It's just at what levels.
Yes.
You know,
well, it's just ego.
Yeah.
Like normal ego. We all have
definitely. We all have ego, but
Yeah.
it's about acknowledging our ego and making sure that it doesn't control us, and we rather control our ego.
Yeah.
Because that will tell a lot. That will tell a lot at how you receive feedback, how you connect with people, how you know, what you think about people. Because if you see yourself as this, you know, high and mighty person, like, dude, no one's gonna want to be around you.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna feel comfortable or safe around you, because you're gonna make them feel like shit.
Yeah.
You know.
No one's gonna want to help you.
Yeah.
Because that's
absolutely.
another thing. Kindness makes people want to help you.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
So,
and I think vulnerability as well, like with the right people, like it grows. It really manifests a beautiful connection, a beautiful relationship. And I think for me personally, like making people feel comfortable by myself opening up has been so important in my career, in my life, because it sets the foundation for a healthy relationship.
yeah.
And I think it's so important nowadays, connecting with people on that level, because then there's the respect level is through the roof.
True.
Yeah.
Man, and this is actually the first time we've had a conversation.
Yeah.
So I've known you for now 5 years, maybe. More than that.
Yeah,
no, way more than that. Sorry, like 7 to 8.
Yeah, 7 to 8 years.
Yeah. And this is like, obviously I've tailored these questions to models, but even as I was asking that, you already answered it in so many ways, and I'm very pleasantly surprised, and I almost feel like nice to meet you as well, because you have a very nice perspective, and again, you already answered it just in the way you view the world.
Yeah.
And you as we're speaking, kind of rewired my stigma of what a model is.
Yeah.
So
100%. I think in life, not even in just modeling, like we've got to view life as a spectator, where everything is happening for us and not to us.
Yeah.
And that means good, bad, ugly. There's a reason behind, or for me personally, I believe there's a reason behind everything that we go through in life. And it is refining us, and it's molding us into the version of ourselves that we're yet to become.
Yeah.
And so I think like just not taking things to heart.
Yeah.
You know, and that's easier said than done. I completely understand, because life can really be lifing sometimes.
Yeah. But I want to challenge you on that from a model perspective.
Yeah.
Because how can you not take things to heart when your economic value, or no, your personal value is dictated by the merit and economic value you bring in? So how do you as a model separate your individual value? Because currently you have success, which is nice.
Yeah.
How are you separating that from who you are?
I think having a strong grounding is critical, you know. And I've said it, like, take away everything, I'm still gonna be me, you know. And that's I think that's the magic, is that not understanding your relationships with things, whether it's, you know, fame, whether it's money, whether it's, you know, materialistic things, understanding and having a healthy relationship with those things, and knowing that this doesn't necessarily make me.
Yes.
This is just something that I have.
I'm experiencing.
I'm just exactly. I'm just experiencing this.
Yeah.
This is just part of my journey, but this is not me. You know.
Yeah.
And once you acknowledge that and understand that for yourself, you learn to have a healthy relationship with things. Like, take that away, cool.
Bro, this is
I'm
so
still
deep,
me.
bro.
Yeah, like
it's landing.
It's really like understanding your connections and attachment to things, but knowing that I'm not that car, I'm not that house, I'm not X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Well, I'm not these
me.
looks either.
Exactly. I'm not these looks.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, I can't control it. I was just, you know, we were just born the way we were born, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
People are short, people are tall, people are whatever they may be. And just staying true to yourself, because that's the most important thing you can do. I truly believe that, and I think I've really just being a student of that day to day is just checking myself. Where am I at? Do I feel comfortable with where I'm at? Do I feel content? Contentment is a massive thing. Like you need to feel content. You know, you might still have goals, you might still have things you want to achieve, but you've got to have a sense of gratitude. Yeah. And that builds contentment. And then with that gratitude comes the next journey, the next chapter, the next thing. Because I feel as though, because, you know, I believe in God, I'm a Christian. Yep. And so gratitude and giving thanks for things is so important, dude. Yep. And for me in my personal life, is the moment where I've settled, I've come down, and I've just had a sense of gratitude for everything that's happening around me as a spectator, is when the next thing's happen, and it's just it's going crazy. Yeah, you know, a lot of the times when I step away from everything that I'm doing and I maybe go on a holiday or just take some time off, that's when things are happening, dude. Yeah. Not when I'm hustling and grinding and doing the thing. Like it's when I'm still. I'm not doing anything. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not nothing.
Yeah. It's in the word content. I feel there's some words have like motion. Yeah. Some words feel cold. Yeah. You know, I feel like the word content brings like a presence. The word alone in the meaning and in the way I visualize it, it centers you in the word. Yeah. It brings like, yes, as you said, you can still plan ahead, look forward, but in the word content, you're grounded, you're still, and you're observing. Yeah. And I think that's, I don't know, it's just beautiful.
It is. It's a beautiful thing.
Such a strong attribute to cultivate. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And I think having that and immersing that into your day-to-day life will change your life. It will change everything, dude. I strongly believe that. It has for me, and I think it can help everybody.
Well, you're killing me here because you're answering the questions right before I hit it. You're nailing it. It's so good. It's so good. Because what I did want to ask you following that was, I guess, what methods of humility do you have, if any? And that's that, to be honest. Yeah. Do you have, I guess, we can still kind of explore that. Do you have particular practical techniques, meditation? Do you like to hang out with certain people that ground you? Is there certain techniques for humility
definitely. You have? For me, it's stepping away from the chaos.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's taking time. It's spending time with family. Yeah. Or my dog. And definitely friends, particular friends that just create a space of contentment. Yeah. Create a space of let's just enjoy this moment.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
let's
glimpse.
Let's not think about X, Y, and Z. Let's just enjoy this time that we have.
Yeah.
And it's the small things, dude. Like it's really the small things. It's looking out, looking at the sunset.
Literally the stars. You know, like, do you remember how fun that is?
Like, looking at the moon,
clouds.
Like,
honestly,
dude, like I take photos from when I'm at home. I take photos of the sunset like almost every day. Yeah. And just being grateful for it. Like man, this is beautiful. Yeah. You know, we don't know how many more sunsets we have. Literally. We don't know how many more summers we have. Yeah. Just enjoying the moment, enjoying the time we have. It's so crucial to staying human and to staying peaceful. Yeah. Internally, not just externally.
Has the modeling profession affected your personality to go in that direction at all?
Not necessarily, because for me, I understand the connection I have with modeling.
Yeah,
it's for me, it's a way to express myself creatively.
Yeah.
Creatively.
Yeah.
And I genuinely I see it as like, people that love to dance. I see modeling as like dancing. Like it's just it's a release. It's a release of creativity. It's a release of energy, positive energy, and just enjoying the moment. And then obviously seeing the outcome, whether it be the video, the commercial, whatever it is, and just looking back and being like, we really did that. We created something special, and we did it in the right way, in a good way, and then just enjoying it.
And the vision was manifest.
Exactly. Like it was once on a mood board, and now it's a physical thing. It's a tangible thing that we can just admire.
Yeah.
And it's not me. It's the hands of every single person on set that help bring it to life.
Yeah.
And just having a sense of gratitude around that is like, it's a beautiful thing.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Honestly, it really is.
It's and that's just like, again, just being a spectator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just being it and just enjoying the things that are happening around you, and just immersing yourself in that, and just feeling like a sense of peace and joy around that. Yeah, definitely.
Are there true stereotypes about the industry, whether they're positive or negative? I assume, and you've kind of broken so many of my stereotypes already, but I assume there's a cutthroat element to it.
Yeah.
I assume you'll encounter a lot of shallow people as well.
Oh, absolutely.
What have your experiences been like? Any negative ones, or something you could share?
I think what I really have to say here is it's more targeted towards females. I think the industry is really cutthroat when it comes
Cancel this man right now. No, sorry.
And I honestly think I'm speaking for the females right now.
Sorry.
Is that like it's really difficult for female models. I think
from other females or from men, or
from the industry, dude.
Okay.
Like I think, whether it be weight or height or body shape or whatever it may be, I think with guys, in the modeling industry, we have a longer lifespan. Men do.
Mm-hmm.
For females, it's not as long. But there's so much pressure I feel on them to look a certain way, or if you're not X, Y, and Z, like, and I know the industry's come out with all these different
that Victoria's Secret,
the classes of models, and you've got plus size and all that kind of stuff, to be inclusive, but in reality they're not really being inclusive. They stick to what they've done, but they've added in these, fillers to satisfy society and to satisfy the people that raised the concern initially, but nothing's really getting done.
Sorry, but what can they do if, forgive my bruteness on this, if the hot, young, busty model is the one that's getting the views, the one that's getting the money. You can make the categories. I understand we can say as a society we need to change things kind of top down, but what about the things that are bottom up and inherently biological that will kind of make men somewhat gravitate to a younger, more fit
and
model?
At the end of the day, they say sex sells, and it does. History tells us. I just think the push for inclusivity in different brands, massive fashion houses, but in reality, they're just not pumping the same time, effort into these other areas that they believe and they claim that they care about, and as part of their core values, etc. But then in saying that as well, I sort of come from another side where I'm like, I don't agree with the way they've pushed inclusivity, because there's certain categories where I'm like, I feel as though we're promoting things that aren't healthy, and this could be
I think
this could be touchy. Like,
yes and no. Like so far it's reasonable.
I watched a video a few months ago. I forget who it was. I think it was a ladies' podcast, and essentially she acknowledged with the plus size modeling, for example, that there needs to be a point where we can say we're promoting obesity. Like, that person isn't healthy.
Yes.
And it's a fine line, because obviously we understand it's not just, people don't just get big by eating. Some people have health conditions.
Thyroid or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I kind of agreed with her, because there needs to be a fine line where we say, okay, look, we can't be promoting this. It's not healthy.
Yeah. Well, you're at like the frontier of it, being the face of the like modeling, which is where it comes from the media.
Yeah.
But you're also trying to crack like society's problems at its core right now.
It's very difficult to navigate. It's definitely not a one-stop shop and, fix it and run away. But even for me, like, there's been jobs where possibly I've been too tall, because I am quite tall for a model. But for me, I don't really care. I feel as though if I get something, if I get booked for something, great. If I don't, great as well. Like, I see it as it wasn't meant for me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect me. I don't really think about it.
Yeah.
But for others, it really can. It really can affect them. It really can, take them to a deep, dark place of, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I need to X, Y, and Z. I need to, go on a diet, blah, blah, blah. But it really isn't.
Yeah.
I think people need to look at it, especially models need to look at it as, okay, it wasn't meant for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's something out there. There's another job. There's another project. There's another whatever it is that's out there that has my name written on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
for me.
For you. And just having that mindset will save you a lot of pain. Yeah. That's just my personal experience.
Yeah. So, and that kind of perfectly flows into my next question.
Yeah.
As a Melanin Rich man, do you feel that you've had resistance to job offers, or has it actually been an advantage for you personally?
I think if we look back in the modeling industry 10, 20 years ago, there wasn't too many people of color getting put on campaigns or being the face of X, Y, and Z, whereas obviously now with, the push of inclusivity, there's a lot of melanin, a lot of diversity going on, which is great. I love it, because, we don't live in a world that's just white and bright.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly,
I mean?
Yeah.
We live in a world that's highly diverse. Living in Melbourne, we live in a city that's very multicultural.
Yeah.
And we need to show that. We need to highlight that.
Yeah.
For me, it's I guess starting in my career at that transition point of inclusivity and diversity, it's definitely helped me. I think there's a lot of work that I've been able to do, and a lot of projects that I've been able to work on that have been great. But I think in saying that, there has been sort of moments where it's like, let's just get the black guy. Like,
in your, as in for you,
like,
you feel?
yeah, like let's just we need to be.
We've got a
diverse.
lesbian Asian.
Yeah, like we've ticked all the categories.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to get a black guy.
Yeah, make sure. Well,
yeah, so like, it's just literally like pop him in there and happy days, we're done. Like, and I've seen that. I've even been on projects where I've gone to set and I'm like, okay, this is just a fill-in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. This is just okay. Let's meet our quota.
Yeah.
Definitely have been in situations like that.
Which the argument is like, what's wrong with that? Not saying you saying there is.
Yeah.
But it's like, yes, there is a quota. Yes, society needs to be restructured top down. So you, like the argument I've heard for it is, yeah, it feels like a brute force, but you need to brute force cultural changes and like this overwhelming moral change.
Yeah.
And then naturally it'll flow in.
Yeah.
Like my opinions on a lot of things have changed over time on things that were initially brute force. And then like you need to find the balance, because then there's overcompensate where you keep going and then it's at the expense of like competence. So in your case, you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
So your merit, regardless of how what, you're outshining the potential of, oh yeah, we just got the black eye. No, I'm fucking good and I'm killing it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think as long as we don't start to lose the competence element, which we do see sometimes, that's when a lot of people criticize.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
So it's a balance. And again, branch it out socially as well is where it kind of goes. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's important to show diversity, but I think you've got to be authentic in the way you go about it.
Yeah.
Because if you kind of just let's just meet the quota, it's you can tell right away.
Yeah.
But if someone's genuinely passionate about whatever they're trying to show and they care, you can feel that.
Yeah.
It's one thing to see it, but it's another thing to feel it. And I think when you feel it, you know. Yeah. Because the energy's different again.
And the product shows.
The product shows as well. You know, the outcome is perfect. The client's happy, you know, because it's genuine. It's come from a genuine place. Yeah.
And we need to be careful to see when it's happening incorrectly as well, and when we're forcing it.
Like, you know, there's Vogue campaigns where you just know, like, they've just, you know, we'll get the Sudanese girl, and we'll put her on the thing just to not get cancelled.
Yeah.
You know?
But again, that balance of also good they're doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
exactly. So there is that counter where it's like, okay, it's good to
it's like
good to have
cool,
it.
If you want to pull up the the docket, funny enough, we're talking about this. So this actually flows. I'm loving this so much. So, so it's important, but you got to kind of notice as well when it's being forced and a bit untrue. Yeah. So I've come up with my question list today, but so it's the two there. Yeah, perfect. But I also took to AI to actually ask it. What did I ask it? Basically, I like to, come up with my questions, but then I'll throw it out to AI as well, just to see what AI is thinking. Yeah. So this is my conversation with AI. I asked a message. I said, "Hello, tell me a cool statistic on male versus female models, something that can spark an interesting conversation, maybe even create moral questions in my podcast." AI's response: "Here's a statistic that might interest you. According to a 2020 report by the fashion industry watchdog, male models make up only 12% of the modeling industry, yet they earn approximately 75% of total revenue generated by the top 50 models worldwide." So that's fucking pretty intense, yeah? So only 12% they make up over 75% of the top 50 models. This statistic raises interesting moral questions about women in the industry, some potential discussion points. Why do males tend to earn more? How does this pay disparity reflect broader? What does the objectification on women mean? And should the industry be doing more? Fair enough, yeah. And emotionally, I agree with that. And emotionally, it feels right. Yeah. But we want data, people. We want data. So I've responded, do you have a reference for this study? What does AI say? The statistic I provide to be a mix of findings. The information on male models earning less. So the information on male models earning less than female models can be traced back to this 2016 article. However, the specific statistics about male models earning 75% of the revenue among models may require further investigation to find the original source. So I'm like, looking to clarify. The only source you have outlines that the statistics show males earn less, but you cannot provide a reference that states males earn 75% of the revenue among top models, ? And it's like, you are correct. I apologize for the mistake. The source I was relying on states that female models earn more than male models, with some sources citing up to 75%. So AI has done a complete 180. Didn't even have to push hard. Yeah. And I found that fucking mind-blowing, to be honest. I felt like that was really important to add in here because, again, that's why people mistrust AI. They're like, it's trying to, force things, control the narrative, literally control the narrative. Guys, I want that to kind of just really sink in. How simple was that?
Exactly.
I'm like, hey, just can I have a reference?
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, I lied about the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
It's like, backtrack.
backtrack, whoops. It's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
So, and top down, again, societal, yes, but be careful, guys.
Yeah.
Like, be very careful.
100%. 100%. Don't take everything for gospel.
Yes, and a thing with the AI as well is, like, being intellectual does not mean you have integrity. You know what I mean? That was intellectually dishonest.
Yeah.
AI like literally lied.
Yeah.
And that's not nice.
No. You'd like to hope that, artificial intelligence isn't going to do something like that.
Yes.
But again, we think about where all these sort of things have come from, the companies that generate these technologies, and what their credibility is. We got to stay curious.
Yes.
We can't just take everything for what it is. We've got to ask the questions. And again, you ask the questions, and what happened?
Simple, yeah.
A switcheroo.
Yeah, full switch. And like, what I'm worried about as well is like, I barely use AI. I have been a bit more now, like literally in that context.
Yeah.
I don't know who. Do you use AI? Have you been?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
no one. It's not a conversation we have. So I don't know who's talking to AI and how much.
Yeah.
So I don't know whose mind is being influenced by that and how much.
Exactly.
So it's just a mental note out loud. Just please be careful.
Yeah.
It speaks well, but don't outsource your cognitive processes to AI.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
My main concern is that the next generation, because if they're doing exams, tests,
Bro, they
whatever
do it
is,
now.
And they use AI, and it's like Control C, Control V, but you cannot take it as it's all done.
Yeah,
like,
a younger friend of mine, she used AI on an assignment.
Yeah.
And then the teacher's like, hey, you, another student,
oh, no.
come up here. And the teacher's like,
Gotcha.
Yeah. Teacher's like, I want you to both read it.
Oh my God.
She's like word for word, basically, for a while. And it's like, and the funny part was just like, even the parts that are like, I think I believe.
Man. Oh man!
Fucking hell! Please be careful, guys.
You have to be. You have to be. Like and that's again the human element always wins. You have to. You gotta instill that human element as well. We can't just trust technology. Like, cause a lot of the times when we need technology, it fails us.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just a warning.
Which quick Google. We won't digress.
Yeah.
Google the Carrington event. 1859. No.
Okay.
But basically, it'll land to that point of just be careful. There is possibilities, like this is just historical, that sometimes our technology goes out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So the Carrington event, 1859.
Okay.
In terms of the modeling industries itself, have you become, I don't know how else to word it, but desensitized to seeing attractive women, I guess people, but women around? How does that work? Or are you just always switched on? Like, how's that work?
That's a great question. I would say I can still acknowledge and respect a beautiful woman when I see one.
Yeah.
Always. But I think now it determines, like, if you mean in a sense if I want to approach, or just in general? Have I seen or noticed any? Okay, no. I think it's still the same. I think I definitely, I see beautiful people all the time.
But has your bar raised higher?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Because it's not just about, the physical aesthetics for me. It's about the personality. And I know that sounds, cliche, and it's like, oh, yeah.
If you started this conversation with that fear, but the context.
But I think initially it's all about, first impressions go a long way. So it's like, okay, is the physical attraction there? Yeah, cool, it's there. But then the next step for me personally is, okay, can I vibe with this person?
Yeah.
And if the vibe is there, great. If the vibe isn't there, cool. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way I tend to sort of think about it internally, is that, oh yeah, cool, I'm attracted, cool. and then let's talk to this person. Let's get to know this
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
Let's see what they're about. And if it's not there, cool. And if it is there, great.
No, you're in my head with that one because I've always said I think everyone can somewhat relate, but I'm very rigid with it.
Yeah.
So first I'm like, yep, she got the looks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly.
Tick. We'll put the looks aside like they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
And now we're just going off the personal checklist, the integrity,
It's like,
the
kindness, the values,
exactly,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And if they don't tick, fucking see you later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But so it hasn't affected. Sorry.
Oh no, I don't think it's affected.
Okay.
It's affected me at all. No, definitely.
Okay. Do you think there's a difference with beauty and sexy? And what is it? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would say beauty is within, and sexy is a portion of within, but then a majority of external.
Okay.
So it's you can have a sexy vibe, but it's usually linked with an external image or a tangible thing that you can see.
Yeah.
Whereas like beauty, someone like I love speaking to old people, especially on planes. And,
It's
and
so
like
specific.
no, seriously, it's a bit like if you're seated next to an old person, like I love talking to them because a lot of the time they're so beautiful, through the conversation you have with them, and it's like you just connect with them on a level, and they have so much wisdom and knowledge, and it's just you appreciate them for who they are. So I that's I guess where I'm coming from is that beauty is from within.
Yeah.
It's not an external thing, because some people are beautiful, like their minds are so beautiful, or their emotional capabilities, and
Demeanor,
maturity. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can appreciate it. Whereas like sexy is like, okay, she's got a sexy vibe, but she's also looking sexy. You can link the two together, and I feel as though that's what it tends to be, not just. Yeah, sexy isn't just an internal thing.
Yeah. No, I think you nailed that.
Yeah.
I'm picturing beauty, sexy, and they kind of branch sideways.
Where you know those triangles where you've got the first circle. I'm sorry, not triangle.
The Venn diagram.
The Venn diagrams.
Yeah.
And it's sort of you've got sexy that's a bit of both.
Yes.
And that's what it would be.
And then the others would be
separate.
External, internal, beauty's kind of leaning.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly what it would be.
I'm going to try drawing and put it up.
Hey, we've got to post it because I feel as though that would be a perfect description visually of what it is.
Fuck.
I think that's actually that's nailed it. Like that's how I describe it for sure.
Oh shit! No, that's well said, man. Yeah,
100%. Like but that's my perspective on it. Other people might be like, oh, well, sexy is just.
I didn't even think of it that way, like at all. To be honest, like that's now my way to think about it. To be honest, I heard a biologist talk about how I think for men, and this is just from a very fundamental biology level.
Yeah.
Not don't cancel me. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
When a man sees like sexy woman versus a beautiful woman, and you kind of nailed it actually. Like the woman that's sexy presents as sexy. If she got them going, she got the lips. She's presenting as sexy. You as a man are, and I want to be very careful because it's not saying it's okay to disrespect women or it's okay not to blah blah blah. But
absolutely,
yeah. So, but you as a man are reading her cues as someone who's presenting as sexy and therefore someone who's implying in her demeanor that, hey, you can get some and you don't need to commit to this. You don't need to commit your resources to this. So that's why, like, you can have a beautiful wife and the sexy element, it kind of triggers another part of the brain that lets you biologically procreate and proliferate without having to actually commit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's kind of given those cues as well.
Exactly.
It doesn't justify, you know what I mean? But
absolutely.
There's cues there.
But there's absolutely cues. I know exactly what you mean. Like, the way you present yourself, a lot of the time, flows into how people treat you.
And how you, I don't want to say how you want. I want to say how you want to be treated.
Exactly.
But I'm careful to say, therefore, short skirt means you can slap her ass.
No,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bit brute, but I'm saying obviously not.
Yeah.
So where's that line? But then again, it's like short skirt and guys will look. So
that's getting into that sort of debate of
consent assist.
Not even that. It's a I'm wearing this for myself. I'm not wearing this for attention.
I don't wear makeup for attention. I just like putting it on.
That conversation that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
And I completely back, like, girls and females need to feel comfortable to wear whatever they wear, feel empowered, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It's, we're in a safe country, you can do whatever. There's no rules, there's no, boundaries around that. I will just say though, it's first impressions go a long way.
Yes. Well said. Yep.
First impressions go a long way.
Yep.
And if you're an individual, and that goes for males and females, if you see yourself wanting something serious or going in with the right intentions, you have to present yourself in a way that shows that. If I'm rocking up to a corporate meeting in sweatpants, Crocs, and a singlet, I'm not going to be respected or viewed in the way I'd like to be viewed.
Well, yes.
And that's purely based off the way I've presented myself. I might be the smartest motherfucker in the room, but the way I've presented myself initially from first glance determines automatically in their mind how they're going to perceive me. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. We don't even care what he has to say.
And I think that's it's...
And it's sad that it is the way it is, but I guess I also like it as well because it holds us to a standard of to uphold.
Yeah.
And that standard isn't crazy.
Yeah.
But it really allows us to make sure that we are approaching things the right way. Because without any rules, without any boundaries, things just get out of hand.
Yeah. It shows me or shows us that we're playing the same game.
Yeah.
And that way, implicitly, so you said the word present, which is true, but even if you use the word represent, you're representing what's inside out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
This is what's happening internally.
Yeah.
And as you said, you could be the smartest in the room, but I'm also seeing that you don't give a fuck about the people you're in the room with.
Yeah.
So if that's how you're representing yourself, first impressions go a long way. As it should to some degree.
They go a long way. And you might be having a bad day. Everybody has a bad day.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But if we're going to bring it back to like relationships and meeting people, first impressions go a long way. Like a first date is a first impression. That sets the tone for the next dates to come, or if there will be next dates. Yeah. So you present your best self. Yeah. You present, and you want to also present your most authentic self as well.
But it is, and bringing it back to the skirt conversation as well, like you want to present what you have on offer. You know what I mean? To the world. And that's, again, I really want to be careful. That doesn't mean the short skirt means, hey, I'm like, she's just, allowing anyone.
It could be a sense of confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then I now have to wrestle with this concept. All right, she's wearing a very short skirt. She's not just an object. I understand that. She's more than this. There's complexity behind this person. But you've presented to me your ass. Like right off the bat, that's what you're giving me. Do you know what I mean? And the reason I speak like this is, like, I just expect more. If you want me to expect more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
You gotta bring something to the party, because if you're not bringing anything, you can't expect anything. You know, it's an exchange.
Yeah. But who's to say she's not bringing anything based on that? You know what I mean?
You know, this is all based off first glance. This is without getting to know them. It's just first observation.
Yep.
And that's what you're gonna think. You know, it's only until you start to get to know the person that you can start to do the analysis.
Yeah.
It's like yep, no, blah blah blah. But that's the next step. But it's difficult because if the first step, which is the analysis, the visual analysis, it already sets a tone in your head for what possibly might be, and you put them in a box already.
Yeah, I agree.
And
you're right.
I can speak myself. I've been in situations on dates where it's like from first glance, I've gone, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've already set my mind in a state of expecting what I already think is going to come.
I'm with you, and I really appreciate your clarifications here because I think you've saved us both.
Yeah.
But and I understand you shouldn't judge, but we're data-driven people, yeah. And when the data, from my experience, tells me that this type of image means X is accessible, the information I subjectively have makes me imply, based on all this data, that X is accessible. That doesn't mean it is. That doesn't mean you can cross a bridge, but things have meaning. You know what I mean? And then sorry, the I won't tangent too hard, but the argument is society shouldn't judge. But to me, it's measurable. This equals that in my experience.
Yeah. The whole notion of society shouldn't judge is bullshit.
Okay.
Like everyone judges. And the people that say don't judge.
And sorry, the ones who didn't judge back in the day didn't survive.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry to tell you, the ones who weren't on face value tribal, just face value. If anything, today we're too tribal. But if at least at face value, hey, you're different to me, I'm going to be on edge. Not edge because we're past that, but just the word different.
Yeah.
And then familiar. And then obviously we're well past that. But to not want to sound racist or not want to sound X, completely disregard the concept of judgment.
Yeah.
You literally need to judge to make decisions. Like, how are we removing that as a society? You know,
exactly.
It's fucking intense.
Yeah, we cannot remove it. You know, there's certain things as a society we cannot get rid of. Because it forms the structure of the society.
Yes,
you know? Like, we cannot take that out. Like it's part of who we are. You know, and you know, there's people that ideally want to change that, but it's just not going to happen.
But we can also, like, there are biological things that we can overcome as well. And we can kind of structure society. Like forced reproduction. That's in the animal kingdom. Humans are animals, but we're past that. We've created laws, we've created values but as I say that, people still do it. You know what I mean? But we as a society can still structure it in a way that disincentivizes people to kind of go down that path.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, there's certain pockets in the world that still do that. They still do it, and it's sad. But the reason why they still do it is because the world isn't watching. The world doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know. We know maybe to an extent the geographically where this sort of thing might be going on, but we don't know where it's going on. And without it getting a spotlight put on it, it will continue to go on. There's slaves right now, dude. Like, there's slaves that are still slaving. Like,
I'm not.
No, I know what you mean. There's slaves that are still out there that exist. You know. But the world is just not shining that light on it. You know. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it.
Leave it there. Leave it there. Because I'm with you.
Yeah.
And that's to open that up
Yeah.
is there's so much in that actually, but it's
Yeah.
a really good point that you made.
Yeah. I was like, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, without branching into it, it really separates the, I guess, the novelty and the, help me on the word, privilege we live in our worlds. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then it kind of really puts into perspective how bad are your problems.
Exactly.
You know? So
Exactly.
a lot in that one. A lot in that one.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah. What do you think 3 non-physical attractive traits for a woman are? Again, I know you've touched on a few of these, but if you can give me 1, 2, 3, and maybe say for men as well that you kind of want to cultivate in yourself.
Yeah. I would say kindness, thoughtfulness, and humor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, because I've thought it through as well. I'd 100% agree on those.
Yeah.
I would, because I thought humor as well.
Yeah.
I would change humor for wit. Because wit implies like an
exactly,
intellect as well.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
definitely,
mean? But even humor is intellectual.
Yeah.
But I love when the girl's just witty and fast.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Because they can fire it back, you know. Like you give it and they give it right back. And so it's like a game of tennis.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I love that because then they keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
A woman that can keep you on your toes is usually one that usually stays around for long.
Yeah.
Because
productive challenge.
Yeah. Because you don't want something that's easy. And I'm talking about just not just women, but everything.
The relationship.
Like you don't want an easy situation. Like you want to be challenged in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Constantly. Because I think that stimulates mental, stimulates physical.
Growth. It stimulates growth.
You know, and it stimulates growth internally. Like I think that's probably one of the most important things, you know, to look for.
Yeah.
In friends, in a partner, is that someone that's going to challenge you.
Yeah. With your best interest in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? What about for men? What are traits you think, non-physical traits, a man should strive for?
I definitely think kindness as well. Definitely. I would say emotional intelligence.
Okay. Yeah.
Patience.
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 Nice. Okay.
Patience. That's funny thing. My dad, one thing he always sort of told me as a kid, it was like, you got to have patience with women.
Yeah.
Like, and not that there is anything wrong with that. But it's so true. In my, you know, growing up and in my adult life now, it's just, you see that. You know, you ever thought about things that people might have told you, like little memories or quotes or whatever it may be that your family members or friends might have told you when you were younger, and now in your adult life you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
That makes sense now.
It clicks. It's like the penny drops. Is
the exactly. Or it's like, you know, when you were a kid and you didn't really, you know, understand the value of money or where things came from. And as an adult and you've got responsibilities, it's like, oh God.
Yeah, you know what the best example for that is? Now I understand why mum was like, oh, the petrol's down fucking 3 cents.
Exactly. Like those little moments where it's just like, oh, I'm adulting now.
We're adulting.
I'm grown.
God damn it. Yeah, I know.
And it's just one of those things. Like,
That's it. I'm really enjoying this conversation. I'm going to try power round through the next ones, just because we are closing in. Kind of get to, not closing thoughts yet, but conclusions-ish. One I wanted your take on. I've never said this out loud, but I sometimes have this like irrational fear that I'm going to get like, I don't know, caught in an accident or something that just kind of mutilates my face permanently. Have you experienced something similar to that?
Like an actual experience?
Have you experienced the fear of it, or am I just fucking a bit cooked? Especially that your face is your asset is kind of why I asked you in this context.
I'd say yes and no.
Okay. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I'm not one to really like I can't do that because I might scratch my face or this and that. Like I don't really think about it too much.
Okay.
But I guess like being a model, like it is like your face and your outlook, your physical like presence is your asset. So I think for me, it's more just, I think there's an active, because when you signed a modeling contract, for example, there is a clause where it says, most contracts will say that you keep your look, like you keep
which is fair enough.
Physique.
This is why we hired you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and so I don't really think about it because luckily if I'm honest, like I don't really work out that much, dude.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
But I've been able to pretty much keep my physique for, I don't know, since I was 18.
Nice.
Sort of always look the same. And so but it is an active thought that I'm not going to change my look drastically because it's going to, differentiate from what I've always looked like.
Yeah.
So it is a thought that it's like for example, I had my ears pierced when I was maybe 20. Took it out. And then for example, there'll be times where my agent's like, grow your hair out.
Okay.
Or cut it. And that just depends on the market and what's really working at the moment.
Interesting.
So there's slight adjustments that happen.
Yeah.
Like, throughout the life cycle of your career. And some could be facial hair. It just depends on what it is.
No, that's cool, but there's no irrational fear.
There's no fear of something happening.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's nice. Good.
Yeah.
Good. And it seems you've kind of just postured your lifestyle around
Absolutely.
things anyway.
Yeah.
So you're not just going
intertwined. It's all linked.
Yeah. You're not dirt biking off a
No,
fucking cliff anyway.
So we're not doing anything that's gonna, increase the likelihood of something like something crazy happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sorry, I don't mean to create an urge. I felt myself say I don't mean to create that urgency, but I am just cognizant of time at this point. Have you experienced like pretty privilege? Do you feel people? I feel, in my experience, like I'm. Anyway, in my experience, I don't know if it's pretty privilege. I'm trying to be a kind person.
Yeah.
And in my experience, being kind, and maybe I don't know if looks are linked at all, but being kind has a lot of people like to give things.
Yeah.
I think the world is a very giving place,
Yeah.
but I think I'm a giving person as well.
Yeah.
But I've noticed the world is a giving place.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's linked to looks at all.
Dude,
from that context.
I can tell you right now, pretty privilege absolutely exists.
Okay.
And funny enough, it just reminded me of what happened last night. I was at a bar. I was at a bar, and pretty privilege isn't just for the opposite sex. Like, it can happen as a male from other males, and it did last night.
And not even sexually, like
not even sexually. Yeah. I was at a bar. I was with my friend, and I was getting a drink, and I'm waiting. There's a person in front of me. They order their drink. I'm about to order my drink, and this guy taps me on the shoulder, like, "Hey, like, I just want to tell you, bro, you're really fucking attractive."
All right, that one's kind of gay.
And this dude was straight as hell.
Yeah, I'm joking.
And he was like, "Dude, like, you look good. Like, you'd kill it in here." And I'm just kind of like, "Dude, thank you." Like, his name was Connor. We just, we just had a good conversation, and he was like, what are you drinking? And I was like, dude, I'm just
literally, bro.
I'm like, dude, I'm just I'm getting a gin and tonic. And he was like, dude, I'm gonna buy you a drink. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that. Like, I can get myself a drink. It's like, no, dude, I'm buying you a drink.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, you really don't have to. And he's like, no. I think he knew the bartender and was like, Johnny, get him, get him a gin and tonic. And it was just like, all right. And that's not the first. It's happened on multiple.
Yeah.
Pretty privilege is real. Like, especially, yeah. I mean, it is real.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
is absolutely real.
It's very blatant in your experience.
Yeah. I've experienced a lot of different situations where sometimes actively I've used it.
Yeah. Oh, you fucking dog! I love it.
You know,
like, hey.
Yeah. If I'm late for an appointment or if I'm late for a flight, like you
like, I'm fucking hot. Can't you see?
not even like you got to use your assets.
Yes. No,
You got to use your assets, and yeah, it's a thing, and for girls as well. I think absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
that's awesome.
But it's really a thing.
Well, for me, it's like I usually let myself go a bit, and then I'll get a haircut, and like do my monobrow and whatever.
Yeah.
So like, I feel energy shift. Well, also in my confidence though, when I get a haircut, when I get a haircut. Oh, fuck.
Side note.
No, don't. Well, fuck. I need to keep talking. When I get a haircut, I sometimes not. Sometimes feel very confident, and I feel the world kind of not the world.
Yeah,
I just feel things
you
change.
feel confident.
You know what I mean?
Feel like things are flowing. You know, your side.
And that's when I sometimes feel this people giving more. Yeah. Like literally directly linked to when I'm feeling more confident.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Fuck. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. That was bad by me. Sorry about that. I'll re-rail us. So I wanted to ask you, in a world of social media and just kind of globalization, it's so much easier to talk to, just make friends of people of all walks of life. I'm aware you had a previous relationship that was actually long-term.
Yep.
Again, we've never actually spoke properly before. So can you tell me, and if you're as comfortable as you are sharing, how did the relationship start and what were some of the struggles you had in a long-distance relationship that you can share with people who might be considering it right now?
Yeah, so it initially started, obviously we were in the same location, so that was fine.
IRL, in real life?
Yeah, yeah, in real life. We met in real life, we met at a party. We spent maybe 4 or 5 months together, physically. And then she had to fly back to, obviously, her hometown, her country. And we did long distance for maybe 6 months.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved.
You did move.
I moved.
Yes.
But the long distance aspect is, dude, it's not easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's going to expose yourself when you're not showing up. For example, what I mean by that is if you say we're gonna talk at 6 o'clock because the time difference as well, and you're not showing up and you're not prioritizing that time and you're not being present in that time, like it exposes everything. Like long distance, I think my experience with it and understanding who I am, like it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. I mean, in the long term, it doesn't work for me. Like I can do it for a period, but I can definitely not do long distance for an extended period of time.
Of course, yeah.
Like, it's a challenging situation to put yourself in, but I think only put yourself in it if, one, you feel ready, and two, you feel as though that person is worth it.
Yes, but it's a paradox because you don't know yet if they're worth it.
Absolutely.
Because
but you tend to, obviously, depending on how people meet, I was lucky enough to meet in person.
Yeah.
However, people that meet online, I'd hate to go through that because you just don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, but that's to me a part of the problem is it's a relationship with your phone.
Yeah.
Like that's
Exactly.
literally all it is.
Exactly.
And with a concept,
humans.
you know,
humans.
like
we need that intimacy. We need that human to human intimacy.
yeah,
And not even in a sexual setting,
of
just
course, yeah.
in just presence. You know, talking to a screen, talking to a computer will only last so much.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of frustrations that come with it. And there's a lot of doubt because if you miss a call and you don't respond, it's like, what is she doing? What is he doing?
It's like 4 a.m.
So yeah, and it's like, and you know, you've got to wait till the next 8 hours. You got to wait. You get a response 8 hours later.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, then arguments arise from that because it's like, well, why didn't you? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's very challenging. It is very challenging. But if you believe it's worth it and that person is worth it, and you feel ready and you have a plan in place,
Yeah, nice.
there needs to be a plan in place for how you're going to get out of long distance. Without knowing where you're going to go, you're like rolling blind.
Yeah.
And that usually never works. I've had friends in that sort of similar situation where
It's a lot more
there isn't. You need to plan ahead.
Yeah.
Like it's really, you need to really plan it. It's not something that you just sort of jump into. It needs to be thought about. It needs to be mutually understood and respected by both parties.
And communication.
Communication,
like literally,
dude. Long distance will expose your communication. If you think, because a lot of people, we think that we're good communicators, but long distance will really show you how good of a communicator you are because it'll expose the little cracks and crevices.
Because it's only communication.
It's
the whole thing,
dude. Like if you're not clear, if you're not concise, you're getting like argument.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'd want to add 2 points onto that.
Yeah.
One of them is eventually, like a beauty of the relationship is creating memories together. You know what I mean? You're experiencing life together.
Absolutely.
And then you start to converge realities into one.
Yeah.
Eventually, in long term, it just devolves into how was your week?
Yeah.
And then what are you
exactly.
talking about
Yeah,
anymore? How was your day? What am I like? And then it's not a relationship.
Yeah.
It's just a conversation of the past.
Exactly.
There's what are you doing next week?
Yeah.
All right, tell me how it went. It just doesn't. It can't.
There's a stage where it does become mundane and it does become repetitive and not as exhilarating. But that's in every relationship. But specifically with long distance, it's a lot harder to keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
Because you've got so much distance between you. So it's how do you stay engaged? It could be, you know, games or watching a movie together or just trying to do whatever you can do to stay connected.
Yeah.
You know,
Like put the phone on the table while you're eating or something.
maybe sleeping.
Yeah.
On a FaceTime or on the phone or whatever it is, like little things that really help, you know, strengthen that relationship, even though it's
to the extent you can.
Yeah, to make it feel real.
you know,
For lack of a term.
That's the perfect term.
Yeah.
And then the other part, like let's say it progresses and you've made it, or one of you have moved.
Yeah.
My big qualm with it is now there's just this added layer of one person always subconsciously owes the other in a sense that, let's say she's moved here.
Yeah.
Like now I can't say F off, I don't want to talk, not F off, sorry, I wouldn't talk like that. But now I can't say like, leave me alone for a bit.
Yeah.
Now let's say you want to break up and it's at that point.
Yep.
Now you need to consider she's moved her whole life for you. And it's just an extra pressure on like, in a relationship that's already hard to navigate.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of pressure on whoever is getting moved into. So whoever's staying and whoever's gonna have a partner come, there's a lot of pressure because if that person is coming to you and they most likely don't have any friends in where you stay, it's a complete brand new start, brand new life, there is a lot of pressure to be that person for them, be their support, do everything with them. And that can be daunting, dude, because it's, how am I going to do this? Like, what if it doesn't work out and they've got to go back, but they've moved their whole entire life to be with me?
Yeah.
And so it absolutely gets daunting. It absolutely.
I think that's, sorry.
And that's probably one of the last stages of a long distance is the transition point from, okay, where we were long distance to now we're a real relationship and we're going to live together or live in the same city together. There's a lot of pressure around that because it's, can I actually be in an actual relationship now? Because we've been long distance for so long, like, because it's a shift in the relationship. Because yes, it's good initially. It's like, oh yes, she's here or he's here, and we're having a great time. But then the relationship dynamic changes because now you're physically together, and so it's like we have to readjust again from. And what I watched a video a little while ago was a lot of people some people that are in long distance relationship, they find it easy, or they reoccurringly go back into long distance with other people, is that it's easy to hold an emotional space to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like you only hold X amount because it's easy, because you can just, they're wherever they are and you can just live your life while you have a relationship, but that you can just keep it to a pocket.
Yeah.
But then
there's no fulfillment.
Exactly. But then
safe.
It's safe.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. And then when you've got a real relationship and someone's in your face and it's like, I don't like the way you do that, you're not clean, you don't blah, 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 there's a lot more challenge.
Yeah.
It's a lot more confronting. And some people don't like that. So it just depends on the type of person you are, you know.
And back to, as well, on top of all that, you can't voice exactly, because they've given everything up to be there.
Exactly.
So how do you do that?
You've got to navigate your words and the way you communicate very, like, carefully.
And I feel a lot of relationships break down when you do put your whole world in that person.
Yeah.
But the very nature of a long distance, as you just mentioned, requires you to make them your everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel like by nature of it, it's not destined to fail, but there's so many more parameters in place and hurdles that you need to jump.
Exactly.
Just to achieve an not average relationship, but like a normal functioning relationship.
Yeah, to feel like you're in a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you shared that, man. That's a really good point of having to readjust from long distance into normal.
Yeah.
I never even considered that.
Yeah. It's a real thing. It's the next phase. It's probably one of the last phases of that long distance process.
Yeah. Do you think your younger self would be proud of the man you've become?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You know, I came from essentially nothing, you know. You know, came to Australia 6 years old, grew up in Tassie.
Oh, shit.
Moved to Melbourne, 13. Yeah, 13. No, 15. Yeah, I've come from the bottom. Dude.
Okay.
Like, and no one really knows this, but like, yeah, I know what it's like to, and that's why I'm so grateful for everything I have in life and everything I've been able to achieve in life, is because I know where I came from.
Okay, yeah.
And that keeps me humble. And that keeps me, if I could go back and choose, I would still choose my path, because it's made me aware of everything. And I always look back at like old photos and like when I was younger and like where I've come from, and it really humbles me.
Yeah.
You know, and having a family that, you know, we've all done it together, we're very close. And so it just brings a sense of gratitude.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that just, that gives the missing link to why you have this level of humility and gratitude, because what I've just heard, you've had nothing.
Yeah.
So, and you were okay then as well.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I'm making that assumption.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was a happy kid, you know, even though in reality, on paper, like, didn't have any.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Where do you go to get your wisdom from?
I think my wisdom comes from a number of different places. Life experience. A lot of it comes from life experience. I usually tend to speak on things that I've lived through, and a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, some people don't. They sort of just speak on whatever comes up, like, oh yeah, I've got my own opinion, but I tend to speak from, I know what it's like. I've experienced it. Definitely my parents, for sure, my family, and just reading the Bible, like just being a Christian, like just the stories, like there's a lot of wisdom to take, and I think just always having a mindset of I'm still a student in this life game.
Beautiful.
Like
Yes.
I'm still learning. I'm never gonna get to a point where I know everything and I'm the guy.
Yeah.
No. I'm still just a student. I'm still learning. I'm collecting the rings.
Yes. Yes.
That's all it is. And having that constant mindset, that'll keep you grounded, and that'll be able to help other people. Because especially if you've lived through things,
Yeah.
because people feel more comfortable when someone says, "Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I've been through that X, Y, and Z, and this is what I did, and this is how I got out of it, and these were the challenges, and
I want what's best for you."
Exactly. And it's like this can help you. I think speaking from experience is powerful, is really, really powerful.
Bill, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Genuinely, from my heart, this was a very nice conversation.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed it.
Me
as well,
too,
dude.
man. I'm actually excited to hear it back in editing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I usually am, but I'm really excited to hear this back.
Yeah.
So, brother, honestly, thank you so much for coming in.
Dude, thank you.
I'm excited to see your journey unfold, man. Both friend and fan, genuinely. I like to say that and mean it. Where I'm watching as a follower as well. I want to, I'm seeing you when I'm literally out and about and you're popping up, and I'm just proud to say, hey, I know that guy. You know what I mean?
Look, it's all love, and it's always been love, and I'm looking forward to seeing this podcast grow.
Thank you,
and I
man.
think you're doing all the right things, and I think, we just got to support everyone. Subscribe, like, share, everything.
Yes.
Because Beale's really doing some special things.
Awesome. And I guess shining light and giving, like, hopefully it grows enough and allowing people to meet people like you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
And honestly, in a selfish way, like, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to just say, hey, Bill, let's go for coffee. I kind of do, but I have an excuse with the podcast to meet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm grateful that you've agreed to do this, man. So
Dude, always.
thank you so much, Bill.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And peace.